So, I was just hitting you up the other day, saying I was on the doorstep of being an old head. Now, I'm kinda shook 'cause it feels like I didn't just hit old age. I straight up lapped it. We're talking beyond vintage vibes. More like I'm in the "this dude's practically ancient" category. My body's definitely not keeping up with my spirit anymore. Think of me as one of those old tech gadgets. Still works, but you wouldn't flex it. But real talk, I gotta give props to myself. You're my witness. My brain's still on fire, not missing a beat even if my body's kinda tapping out. It's just my bad habits and all their extra baggage that's feeling the years. My mind, it's living its best life, barely noticing it's in a body that's starting to lag. It's tossed most of that heavy stuff overboard and is vibing high, telling me old age is when it really starts to bloom. Let's just roll with that. My mind's hyping me up to think deep about whether this chill and wise persona is thanks to actually leveling up my wisdom or just 'cause Father Time's been doing his thing. It's got me sorting out the stuff I legit can't do anymore from the stuff I just don't vibe with. And why even stress about not being able to do some things anymore? If something's gotta give, isn't it kinda lit to just fade out gently into that good night when it's time? Instead of everything coming to a screeching halt all at once. Going out smooth, with everything gradually winding down, sounds like the dream exit to me. So here I am, kinda like I'm at the final boss level of life, keeping it 100 with myself, thinking, everything I've done or said up till now, child's play, the real test, that's Steph's call. And I'm here for it. Ready to see if I've been all talk or if I'm genuinely about that life. All those big talks against life's curveballs. Time to see if I was just flexing or if I've got the goods. Forget about keeping up appearances for the gram or whatever. Forget all those late-night deep dives and philosophical flexes. When you're facing the final countdown, none of that proves if you've got real soul strength. Anyone can talk a big game. The truth comes out when you're on your last breath. I'm down for that ultimate vibe check. And hey, this isn't just me talking to me. Consider it me dropping some wisdom your way too. Age ain't nothing but a number, and death, it doesn't RSVP. So, stay woke, ready for it to hit you up anytime, anywhere. Was about to wrap this up, hit you with that mic drop, but we can't close out without that final gem. Right. Let's borrow some genius from Epicurus real quick. Think on death, or for the gram, meditate on that VIP pass to the heavens. What's he getting at? Mastering the art of dying is key. Sounds extra to study up on something you only need once, but that's exactly why it's crucial. When you can't test run death, you gotta stay learning about it. Think on death means think on how to live free. Mastering your exit game means you've unlocked the ultimate level of not being tied down by anything. What's a prison, chains, or barriers to someone who's figured out the escape hatch? The only thing keeping us glued to this life is our love for it. Can't just snap that bond, but you can wear it down. So when the time comes, the thing's holding you back from dropping the mic and exiting stage left, ready to hit that final, grand scene.
Yo, so you're hitting me up for advice. Like, do I even have my own life sorted to be dishing out life hacks? Nah, fam, I'm not about to play like I've got all the answers while I'm still working on my own mess. But here's the deal, we're basically in the same boat, kinda like crewmies in a wellness retreat, dealing with our own stuff. So, listen up as if I'm just vibing with my inner self but out loud, and you're here for it because honestly, it's about us both. I keep telling myself, bro, look at the calendar. You're too grown to be chasing the same stuff you were hyped about as a kid. Make sure you're not taking those same old habits with you to the grave. Drop those toxic pleasures that cost you more than they're worth. It's not just the future hits that'll mess you up. It's the aftershock of the past ones too. Those fleeting highs, they're not legit. They don't stick around, and even if they don't mess you up, they dip out fast. Instead, why not look for something solid, something that sticks? that real good can only come from vibing with yourself, from within. The only thing that keeps the joy 100 and keeps on giving, even when things get cloudy, is being true to yourself. Sticking to your virtues. They are like the sun, man, always breaking through eventually. So, when are you gonna hit that level of chill? You've been on it, not dragging your feet, but it's time to step on the gas. There's a whole lot more road to cover. If you want to get to that finish line, it's all on you. Hours, effort, all in. You can't outsource this grind. Talking about outsourcing, let me spill about this one dude, Sab. Rich but not the brightest bulb. Dude had a memory like a sieve. Couldn't remember basic stuff like who Ulysses or Achilles were. Imagine forgetting the names of your day ones. But he wanted to flex like he was all cultured. His hack, dropping mad cash on slaves who had all the classics memorized. 'Cause why learn when you can just own, right? Had a whole crew for different poets, turning his dinner parties into some weird flex but okay moments, trying to quote lines and then bailing mid-sentence. Then there's this guy, Sadi Quad, a pro at bittering up the cash-loaded but clueless types, who throws this shade. Bro, you could have copped some decent bookshelves for less. But Sab is like, if my crew knows it, I know it. Imagine thinking you can outsource your brain. Sadi even tried to get Sab into wrestling, despite him being all frail. Sab is like, dude, I'm barely making it as is. And Sadi hits back with, but think of all the healthy slaves you got. As if physical fitness is something you can just borrow. Bottom line, you can't buy a vibe check or a clear head, no matter how deep your pockets are. Minds gone wild are up for grabs, but no one's shopping for wisdom, even if it was on the shelf. Before I peace out, let me drop this epic wrist gem on you. Being rich is chilling with what nature gives you. He's all over that saying because it's straight up facts, something we gotta keep reminding ourselves. For some, it's just advice. For others, it needs to be on repeat until it sticks.
You think you're the only one feeling this way? Surprised that no matter how many miles you rack up or how many different Snapchat locations you've tagged, you can't shake off that heavy vibe weighing you down? Bro, what you really need isn't a change of scenery. It's more like you need a total soul makeover. You could be jet-setting across the globe, quoting Virgil like, new places, who dis? But guess what? Your baggage, like, you're in a mess, it's still gonna be glued to you. Socrates was chatting with someone moaning about the same thing once and was like, dude, why are you even shocked that globe-trotting isn't solving your life crisis? You're literally carrying the problem with you everywhere, it's you. What's the real thrill in checking out new places anyway if you're just running on empty inside? All that hustle, trying to outpace your shadow, it's kinda pointless. Why? 'Cause you're the shadow. Until you sort out the chaos inside, no place is gonna feel like the vibe check you're looking for. It's like that intense scene Virgil painted with the prophetess, all caught up in her own storm, trying to vibe cleanse but actually just stirring up more drama. You're all over the place, thinking you can offload the heaviness, but it's just making you tip over more 'cause it's like unsecured luggage in the back of your Uber. It's gonna make the ride bimpier. But here's the plot twist. Once you deal with your inner turmoil, any spot on the map can start feeling like home sweet home. Whether you end up in some off-the-grid spot or the middle of nowhere, it's chill because you are cool with who you are. It's not about where you're at, it's about who you are. Embrace the whole I'm a citizen of the world mindset. If you truly got this, you wouldn't be bugging out over not feeling at ease with every new locale you hit up. Each place could have been a hit from the start if you saw it as your own. Instead, you're just like a leaf in the wind, constantly on the move, but not really living better anywhere 'cause that living well thing? It's available everywhere, even in the chaos of the forum. You can find peace in the craziest places if you've got a. Sure, if it were up to me, I'd steer clear from the drama central of the forum 'cause some environments are just toxic, even for the strong-minded. It's like choosing not to hang out in a place that's bad for your health. And yeah, some peeps love the thrill of diving headfirst into life's hurricanes, thinking it's all noble to battle through the drama daily. But wisdom's about picking peace over war, knowing it's cool to face challenges but not seeking them out just for the kicks. Like, consider Socrates chilling with 30 tyrants breathing down his neck, still unbothered. But really, what does it matter how many bosses or haters you've got? Being truly free means not letting them get to you, no matter how crowded the room is with them. Alright, time to wrap this up, but not without dropping this final gem. Knowing you've messed up is the first step to getting better. That's pure gold from Epicurus. If you're clueless about your own mess-ups, how you gonna fix anything? Gotta admit where you went wrong before you can start making it right. Some folks brag about their mess like it's a badge of honor. But if you're out here listing your flaws like they're achievements, do you even want to change? Nah. So, get real with yourself. Be your own harshest critic, your own judge, and even your own defender. Sometimes, you gotta be tough on yourself to grow.
So, you're checking in on our buddy Mark, wondering how he's vibing lately. Truth. Dude barely hits me up anymore, and it's pretty much 'cause he knows I'm all about spitting the truth, something he's not too keen on hearing right now. It's like, why bother chatting if you're not open to what's being thrown down, right? Makes me think about whether those old school straight talkers like Diogenes were onto something or just shouting into the void. But here's the tea. Just blasting advice all over doesn't really do it for me. Feels like shooting arrows in the dark hoping to hit something. Wisdom isn't about spamming your thoughts. It's about choosing your shots, making sure you're reaching those who are actually down to level up, instead of wasting breath on lost causes. But, I haven't written off Marcellinus yet. Dude's got potential, but it's crunch time if we're gonna turn things around without getting dragged down in the process. Marcellinus. Oh, he'll try to dodge the real talk with his sharp wit, making everyone crack up, even when things are low-key serious. He'll roast himself, me, and even throw shade at philosophy itself, calling out philosophers for being hypocrites, spotlighting their flaws like it's comedy hour. He's got a whole lineup of philosophers acting out to use as ammo against me, but I'm set to weather the storm of his jokes. Even if he tries to turn the conversation into a stand-up set, there's a chance I'll get him to see the real picture through the laughs. That kind of humor. It burns bright, but it burns out fast, and soon enough, it flips into something way less chill. My plan. To slide in there, get real with him, and show him he's got more worth than he, or anyone else, might think. Sure, I might not erase all his rough edges, but I'll put a pause on them. And who knows? Maybe that pause turns into a full stop if it becomes a habit. While I'm gearing up to tackle the Marcellinus project, you have got a bit more of the roadmap figured out. Keep fine-tuning your vibe. Amp up your courage, stand your ground, and don't sweat the crowd that's trying to spook you. Remember, it's not about the size of the mob, but the strength within you. Nature's pretty straight up about it. Just like one person gave you life, only one can take it away. And here I am, paying up the last of my dues, dropping one last piece of wisdom. I've never been one to play to the gallery. What I dig, they don't get, and what they're into, I just can't vibe with. Epicurus dropped that line, but real talk, you'll hear that echo across the board, no matter the crew, Stoics, Cynics, you name it. Chasing claps from the crowd. That's a game for performers, not for those who value their essence. Want to stand out for real? Then live for yourself, not for the applause. Popularity's a trap played with cheap tricks. So, what's the big deal with philosophy? The thing we hype up as the ultimate game changer. It's about being cool with yourself, valuing quality over quantity in your circle, and living boldly, free from fear. If I see you chasing likes and living for the crowd's cheer, I can't help but feel for you, 'cause I know the sketchy paths that kind of love comes from.
Seeing Orphidius bro, that legend, all worn out and battling the years, hit me hard. Age has got him pinned down with its full force. Dude's always been more on the fragile side, and now, it's like his body just threw in the towel out of nowhere. It's like when a ship starts leaking. You can patch up a hole or two, but when it's Swiss cheese, you're basically done for. That's like an old-timer's body. You can prop it up to a point, but when it starts falling apart faster than you can fix it, it's game over. But check it, bro's mind. Still lit. Philosophy's gift to us is this dope mindset that keeps us vibing high, even when death's knocking. Like a boss captain sailing with a torn sail, he's keeping what's left of his ship on course. Dude staring down the end game with the kind of chill you'd think was too cool, considering the circumstances. Mastering the art of piecing out gracefully when it's your time. That's next level, and bro is all about it. Other exits might have a glimmer of hope. Illnesses can bounce, fires can be put out, and even the sea can spit you back out. But when old age is escorting you out, there's no encore. Yet, it's the most chill way to exit, even if it's a slow fade. Bro is basically living like he's already had his curtain call, owning his finale with a wisdom that's next level. He's out here trying to school us that if the final act comes with any discomfort or fear, That's on us, not on death itself. He's like being scared of something that won't happen to you, or that you won't even feel when it does, is whack. This old school wisdom hits different when it's coming from someone who's practically high-fiving death. I mean, there's something raw about facing down the end and not flinching. It's easy to talk big when death's just a concept, but bro, he's living that talk. Bro is dropping some real talk about how fearing death is as pointless as fearing getting old, 'cause one follows the other like night follows day. Wishing for life means accepting death's part of the deal. So, freaking out over something as guaranteed as death is like worrying about whether the sun's gonna rise. It's happening no matter what. Death plays no favorites. It's the great equalizer. So, why beef with something that levels us all? Nature's just doing her thing, mixing stuff up, then unmixing it. Bro is on some thank the universe vibe if you get to peace out gently into that good night. Some folks are out here craving the end more than others thirst for life. And who's braver? Those who call out for it, or those who greet it with a nod? It's about the mindset. So, as I've been kicking it with bro, trying to see if he's keeping his edge or if it's getting dulled along with his body, turns out his spirit's only getting sharper. He's like a racer hitting the final lap eyeing the trophy. He's all, I hope, checking outcomes without a sting, but if it's got a hurt, it'll be quick. Either way, the relief of finally being chill will outweigh any last-second pain. Real talk. Listening to bro hasn't just been a trip. It's been like front row seats to the truth. We've all seen folks dip out of life, but those who face the end with open arms, not dragging their feet, they're the real MVPs. Bro's main point. We only sweat the finale 'cause we think it's closing in. But real talk, death's always lurking. So instead of tripping over when it might pop up, we should just be ready to meet it like an old friend, anytime, any place. And with that, I'll wrap this up before you start thinking this letter's a fate worse than death itself. Just keep death on your mind, not as a downer, but as a reminder to live fearless.
Bro, now you're stepping up, showing off the vibes you promised from the start. You're vibing towards greatness, stomping over what the masses hype up. Don't even dream of being anything less than you aimed for. You've already laid down a solid base that covers more ground than most. Now it's time to finish building what you've started and kick off the plans you've been sleeping on. In short, you're on track to wisdom if you just ignore the noise. And I'm not talking about just blocking it out with some basic earplugs. You need something way stronger than the wax Ulysses used on his crew. The temptation he dodged had nothing on what you're up against. You're bombarded with distractions from every corner of the globe. So don't just sail past one shady spot, you gotta dodge every temptation city out there. Even block out those closest to you when they wish for stuff that's not really good for you. They mean well, but what they are wishing on you ain't the real deal. The only true good is believing in yourself, which you can't do if you haven't learned to look past the grind. Work isn't what makes something good. So what's legit good? It's rising above the need to work. That's why I've got no time for people who hustle without a purpose. But for those chasing after something meaningful, grinding towards goals that matter, I'm all about cheering them on. Tell them you're killing it. Keep pushing and take that hill in one go if you can. Real talk, work fuels the fire of noble minds. So don't bother making wishes about what kind of fortune you want. It's lame for someone who's already nailed all the top honors to still be hitting up the gods. Why waste time on wishes? Make your own happiness. You can totally do this if you get that anything mixed with virtue is fire and anything that's chilling with vice is straight trash. So what's the real deal? Getting wise about stuff. And what's not cool? Staying clueless. A smart person, a real artist at life, knows what to pick and what to pass on, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. I'm telling you, don't get bogged down or bummed out. It's not enough to just not dodge the hard stuff, you gotta step up and ask for it. But what about pointless or low-key tasks, you wonder? Now they are not bad, not when they are pushing you towards greatness. That effort, that drive to tackle tough challenges, that's all spirit telling you, why are you even sweating? Sweat isn't something to fear for a real one. Virtue's about keeping it 100, staying consistent across the board. And you can't hit that level without getting the lowdown on everything, mastering both the human and divine playbook. That's the top tier good. Grab that and you're practically rolling with the gods, not just begging favors. How do I get there, you ask? No need to climb mountains or brave the wilderness even though you've done worse for less. The path nature's set for you is chill and smooth. She's decked you out with everything you need to vibe with the divine, not through cash, fancy clothes, clout, or followers. Cause guess what? God's not about that life. He's not flaunting wealth, dripping in designer brands, or craving likes. The real quest is for a soul that's straight up noble, good, and massive, a kind of divine spark chilling in a human body. That level of soul doesn't care if it's in a knight or a nobody's kid. Titles are just games people play. You can hit God-level greatness from anywhere. It's all about rising up, reshaping yourself to be more godlike. And FYI, this transformation isn't about bling. You're not crafting a god out of gold or silver, you're aiming for something that mirrors the divine. Remember, the most legit gods were sculpted from clay. So keep it real and elevate yourself. It's not about the material, it's about embodying that divine essence no matter where you're starting from.
You're asking me to wrap up these DMs with some epic quotes from the head honchos of our philosophy squad, but here's the tea. They weren't about just dropping mic drop moments. Their whole vibe is strength from start to finish. When everything's lit, nothing pops out. It's like if every tree in the forest is a giant, no single tree is gonna make you stop and snap a pic. Poetry and history are packed with these standout lines, but don't get it twisted. These nuggets of wisdom aren't just an Epicurus exclusive. They're for everyone, legit part of the whole squad's lingo. But yeah, they hit different with Epicurus, cause you're not expecting Mr. I'm so chill to drop bars of bravery. Most peeps think he's all about that soft life, but in my book Epicurus is straight up bold, long sleeves and all. Courage and hustle aren't just for the Spartans. You can find them in anyone who's about that action. So don't at me looking for quotes like we're in some Pinterest board of inspo. Our philosophy's got this richness every way, not just in sound bites for the gram. We're not about that bait and switch life, showcasing one thing and selling another. Our shop's open for you to check out anything, anytime. But if we started name dropping for every dope thought, who would we even credit? See, no, Clenths. It's a team effort here. We're not rolling under a dictatorship. Everyone's got their own say. Compared to us, those Epicurean dudes attribute everything to their main guy. But here it's like a feast of ideas, and trying to pick out the best bits is like counting sheep when you're loaded, pointless. Everything's worthy of a highlight, but don't think you can just skim the surface with summaries and catch the wisdom of legends. Dive deep into their world. That's where the magic is. It's about the whole journey, not just the scenic stops. Imagine judging someone's beauty by one feature instead of their whole vibe. But if you're really thirsty for those quotes, I'm not gonna be stingy. There's a whole ocean of them. They're not rare treasures, but like coins in a fountain, just reach in. They're not sparse. They're the beat of the whole track. Sure, for beginners, those one-liners are like training wheels, easy to get and stick with you. But for someone leveling up, relying on famous quotes is kinda basic. Time to stand on your own 2 feet. Craft your own wisdom. Don't just repost. How long are you gonna be just retweeting? Zeno said this. Cool, but what's your take? Clenths thought that. Great, but what about you? Stop living on someone else's playlist and drop your own tracks. It's about being original, not just a cover band. Those who never move past their mentors, who just hover in the shadows, rehashing, not remixing, aren't really living it. They've got a memory bank, but no soul. Knowing stuff means owning it, not just keeping it in your bookmarks. So Zeno said, Clenths said, break up with your books already. Let there be a difference between you and your library card. When will you graduate from being a student to being a master? But listening to someone live is different, you say. Sure, but not if they're just echoing someone else's words without adding their own flavor. And here's something else. Those who never outgrow their heroes will just rerun old shows instead of premiering their own. Yes, I'll walk the path of the greats, but if there's a shortcut that's smoother, I'm paving a new way. The OGs are guides, not guards. The truth isn't locked down. It's an open mic waiting for new voices. So will I stick to the classics? Absolutely, but I'm also on the lookout for anything that speeds up the journey and smooths out the bumps. Truth isn't a private estate. It's a public park with plenty of undiscovered spots left for future explorers.
Yo, I've been low-key stalking you, asking everyone who's been anywhere near your hood about what's up with you, where you're hanging, and who your squad is. But you can't slip one past me. I'm onto you. Act like I'm gonna catch wind of whatever you're up to, or even catch you in 4K. And if you're curious about what gossip I'm vibing with about you, it's that there's no gossip. That's what's lit. Most peeps I hit up got no clue what you're on about. Staying away from peeps who aren't on your wavelength is solid advice. And I've got this feeling you're not about to let yourself get twisted, even if you're getting all kinds of attention trying to sway you. What's got me shook isn't that they might flip your script, but that they might slow your roll. Cause even one person putting brakes on you does damage, especially when life's already a TikTok video. We keep hitting restart with every new vibe we chase, chopping up our lives into Insta stories. So my dude, hit the gas. Imagine you've got some zombie apocalypse on your tail, or like some Fast and Furious scene with the cavalry on your 6. For real, the clock is ticking. Time to yeet out of there and secure the bag. Remember, it's epic to wrap up your life story on a high note before checking out, and then just chill vibing with whatever time you've got left without claiming dibs on anything, cause you've already snagged the top tier life. And that life doesn't get any better by stretching it out. When will you hit that level where time's just a number and you're all zen, not sweating tomorrow cause you're maxing out today? What's got everyone thirsting for what's next? Cause nobody has really found themselves yet. Sure, your folks wished all these bougie things for you, but I'm out here praying you'll big time ghost all that. Their wish list is like raiding someone else's loot to deck you out. Anything they're passing your way is basically lifted from someone else. I'm sending out vibes that you get so in tune with yourself that your mind stops being a tourist in your own head and finally kicks back, chillaxing with itself, realizing the real MVP stuff, the good life, is already in your hands the moment you get that. And once you're hip to what's actually worth it, spoiler, it's not about clocking extra years, you're golden. Anyone living their best life after they've technically finished their main quest has really got it made. Every time I catch a glimpse of how much you've leveled up both through your moves and your DMs, I get hyped. You've totally left Mr. Average in the dust. Imagine how hyped a farmer feels when his little tree starts popping off with fruit, or how a shepherd vibes when his flock starts to multiply. If everyone gets proud seeing their protege glow up, imagine how I'm feeling seeing you, basically my masterpiece, hitting your stride. I'm calling dibs on you. You're my project. When I first noticed you had skills, I was all over it. I hyped you up, kept pushing you, never let you just coast. And look at us now, I'm still here rooting for you, but now you're out there making big moves, giving me reasons to cheer even louder. So what more do I want from you? You're like, I'm still on board. And that's key. Your willingness to step up is pretty much the whole game, not just half of it. Like the old saying goes, start strong, you're halfway there. In our world where your vibe and soul set the pace, wanting to be better is more than half the battle. Being good. I'm talking about being whole solid, someone who no amount of pressure or need can twist. I see that person in you, no cap. Just keep on the grind, stay true to your path, and make sure your actions and your words are all playing the same tune, all molded from the same vibe. If your actions start clashing, your soul's out of sync. When I'm all up in your grill about hitting the books hard, it's low-key for my own good. I'm vibing for your friendship, but that's not gonna happen unless you keep leveling up like you've been doing. Right now you're cool with me, but we ain't tight yet. You're probably like, wait, isn't loving someone the same as being their friend? Nah fam, they're on totally different wavelengths. Friendship's always got your back, but love, sometimes it messes things up. So get your act together, not just for the gram, but so you really get how to love right. Speed it up, will ya? Polish up your game so you're doing it for me before someone else snags your upgraded self. Not gonna lie, I'm already getting a bit hyped thinking about us being brain twins and me getting a power up from your energy. Age gap's barely a thing. But for real, I want to celebrate not just the potential but the real deal. Catching feels for someone from a distance is chill, but it's kinda like snacking when you're starving, it doesn't really fill you up. Handing out, actually being in their space, that's where the magic happens, especially if they're the type of person you've been looking to chill with. So make yourself that premium gift for me, and because life's short and I'm not getting any younger, hustle to find me. But more importantly, hustle to find yourself. Make moves, but make sure you're vibing consistent with who you are. Want to check if you're actually getting somewhere? Ask yourself if you are still all about what you wanted yesterday. If your wants are doing the cha-cha slide, it means your mind's riding the struggle bus, swerving all over the place. But if you are steady, locked in place, that's where you want to be. That's the Zen zone the truly wise folks chill in, and even if you're just on the journey making some progress, that's cool too. What's the diff? One's moving but not losing ground, just bobbing in the waves. The other's anchored, no rocking, no rolling.